Hola, hola, my name is Ramon, cosmetic formulator, esthetician, and as we all know, I am a huge fan of the Eucerin Oil Control Sunscreen. In the last 4 to 6 months, I've had endless DMs, comments here on YouTube, on Instagram, everywhere, telling me that they've come out with a new reformulation of it. So today we're going to be talking about my thoughts and comparing the OG Eucerin Oil Control Sunscreen and the new reformulation of it. Before we get into it, again, I'll have the link for the original review up here in the card if you want to go watch that and see my full thoughts on that formulation. And also don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube, follow me on Instagram and TikTok, all at Glow by Ramon. So why I love the original Eucerin Oil Control Sunscreen in the first place, you'll see the footage on screen as I put it on, but it's basically this really lightweight gel texture. That in itself isn't special. The Koreans are doing that and they've been doing it for ages, but it goes on so nice. It sets down so quick. And the best part for me and what stood out about it was the fact that it mattifies pretty much almost instantly. It controls and regulates my oil production throughout the day. So I pretty much stay semi-matte to pretty natural finish. It maintains that for hours, but I can also reapply the sunscreen on top of makeup so effortlessly, and it's not going to affect the makeup coverage wear. And it also makes me just matte all day, even with reapplication over makeup. So that was why for me, hands down, it was like this holy grail sunscreen. So I heard this reformulation was coming out and I was like, well, what's the tea on that? And so let's talk about it. First of all, I want to highlight what the differences are in these formulations and how to know which one you have. So fundamentally, the main difference is that now they changed out the filters. The best way to find out if you have the new formulation versus the old formulation is if you look at the formulation inky list on the old sunscreen, you're going to see homosalate as the second ingredient. Homosalate is no longer in the new formulation. They subbed that out. You know you have the new formulation if you look at the ingredients list and you see C1215 alkyl benzoate as the second ingredient. That's how you know that you got the new one. In terms of the difference in UV filters overall in both formulations, the old sunscreen featured, as I mentioned, homosalate as well as avobenzone, octisalate, octocrylene, and ensolazole. Pretty much the majority of those, I believe, are US filters. Ensolazole is the main question. The new formulation removed homosalate completely, and now the filters are avobenzone, Uvinol T150, Tinosorb S, Uvinol A+, and ensolazole. So basically they changed it to the more innovative, more new filters that are available here in the EU. The reasons for this, it could be a lot of reasons. Number one, primarily, and people are probably going to talk about this in the comments, there was a question raised of the safety concern of homosalates. Here in the EU, the European Commission basically was like, we have an issue about the safety with homosalate, we need to assess it. And an update on that is on December 2nd, they came out that homosalate is still safe use in topical cosmetics up to 7.34%. If you look at the back of a lot of sunscreen filters in the US where they disclose the percentage based off drug facts, you know that that's not a very high percentage necessarily of homosalate. Usually even for just like SPF 30 or general SPF 50s, about 10% is used on average. I believe in the US it can go up to 15%. Here in the EU it was, I think, max 10%. So now they just lowered that a little bit to 7.34, but it's still safe to use in cosmetics, not a concern. But I think with the initial concern around that and not being sure of what the end result was going to be, Eucerin was like, let's just nix it. We have the ability to, and let's just spice up the new filters. Aside from that, realistically, the new formulation, because obviously you have to change the filters, but still maintain a lot of the elegance and the textural experience of the original formulation, they did switch up some things, basically changing out some of the more emollient esters, changing some other things in the formulation to accommodate the ingredient technology, whether that's dissolving the UV filters, accommodating the overall texture, encapsulating some things, but nothing crazy. And they still maintain my favorite features of the original, which are the L-carnitine ingredient, which is responsible for that sebum regulating property, as well as lycochalcone A and the licorice extract specific to this formulation that Beiersdorf, which is the parent company of Eucerin, uses in some of their other oil controlling formulations. The lycochalcone A is the antioxidant component of this, and then the licorice extract is the DNA repair mechanism of this. So that is still in the current new formulation. This new formulation is fragrance and essential oil free, as the original was, but it still does have alcohol, which in this world, on this channel, we are a big fan of. But I think the number two biggest improvement, and I think what I'm happiest to see, is the fact that this new formulation is sweat and water resistant. The original was not. If you look at the side of the box for the new one, it does specify that it is fast absorbing, water and sweat resistant. Here in the EU, they don't have to designate a specific time frame as to how long that is. Why? I'm not 100% sure. And B, in a lot of markets, that designation can change. In the US, it's 40 or 80 minutes. In Australia, they designate it up to, I think, 4 hours, I believe. So just know this is water and sweat resistant, but you still should be reapplying every 2 hours if you're under consistent UV exposure. So my experience with the new one, you see as I pump out the new formula onto the back of my hand, to me, if I look at it, the main difference in visual texture is the fact that this one resembles more of a gel cream, whereas the original seemed more of a traditional gel formula, maybe like a lighter gel cream. So this one looked like it had a little bit more body to it, which was concerning at first. But the minute I work it into my skin, I use this as is. I don't put moisturizer underneath it, just a hydrator or two underneath, like a serum or toner. This just works into my skin super easily. It melts in right away. It sets down honestly within like 5 minutes, and the finish is the same as the original to me. It is that nice semi-matte natural finish. It diminishes a lot of the shine on my skin, and I was very happy when I saw that on the first time I used it because I knew that it wasn't going to be very different from the original. Still lightweight, still sets down quick, still controls oil, and still helps to keep me matte all day. Makeup wears beautifully on top of this, no issue. I do have it on underneath this makeup today. I actually have the new formulation on this side and the original formulation on this side. Absolutely no difference in how my makeup applied and how it's worn all day. What I will say though, and this was a comment, I get this comment all the time, especially on TikTok or here on YouTube, there is always this concern about pilling with the original formula. I never personally had. With this new formula though, I actually have had, I think once or twice, an issue with pilling, and I couldn't tell you what that is. Fundamentally, majority of the makeup I apply, I stipple on or pat on, so there's not a lot of swiping or buffing involved. So that definitely helps to diminish that concern. I, at most, will use like a gel moisturizer underneath this, and when I do that, no issue. So I don't know what exactly caused that, but I will say I try as best as I can to use this sunscreen as is with nothing underneath, and whenever I do that, I never have a pilling issue. Also for the eye stinging, because everyone was asked about it, I don't have issues with eye stinging in general mostly, but specifically with this, I don't have an issue at all. You can see when I apply it straight up on my eyelid, on my under eye, around my eyes, no issue. Never feel stinging, even on reapplication. I don't have sensitive skin though, so that's definitely something worth warranting. And as I mentioned, there's no fragrance or essential oil, but this does have alcohol in it, primarily for the elegance and to allow it to set down quickly, but I don't really notice a burn with that at all, so worth noting. And if people ask me in the comments, I am timestamping this part of the video. Another point worth bringing up as I wrap up this video is the fact that, as I mentioned, the original formulation has pretty much the same filters that you would normally see in the US market. Recently, while my boyfriend was in the US, he showed me the fact that Eucerin has an American version of the oil control sunscreen. I have bought that, and I bought a few other different versions of the US sunscreens that I have the European versions of here. So stay tuned for a video comparing the UK versus the US versions, as well as talking about some of the other Eucerin sunscreens that are available here in the EU, because it'll be up very soon. But fundamentally, they're not the same sunscreen. I've tried them out, and looking at the ingredients list even, they're not the same, which is really interesting. But stay tuned for that review. Hit that subscribe button so you know when that goes live. But final thoughts, the new formulation of the Eucerin oil control sunscreen is out. I have tried it for months now, and I can vouch the fact that it is pretty much the exact same formulation, the exact same wear, the exact same user experience, thank God. So is it Ramon approved or Ramon recommended? 1006%. But let me know down below in the comments, have you tried the new reformulation of the Eucerin Oil Control Sunscreen? Was your experience different than mine? Let me know. Also let me know what other like mattifying sunscreens do you really enjoy that I should try out, because fundamentally this is my holy grail. I know the UV Immune was a lot of other people's holy grail for oily skin. The new version people are not a big fan of. I disagree, but let me know below in the comments what your favorites are. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, notification bell, so that you know when I post more skincare, sunscreen, and fancy beauty content on my channel. Leave it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching, guys. Bye.